Welcome to the Exposure Ninja podcast. My name's Tim, head ninja at Exposure Ninja, best-selling digital marketing author. As you know, this show is all about helping you to generate more leads and sales through your website. And in this episode, I'm delighted to be joined on location by the man himself, Mr. Wayne Dharana from Exposure Ninja. Wayne, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So we're on location at Luton. We've just had a mastermind session, hence the devastation that you can see behind us, where a bunch of businesses have come in and we've spoken about what we've been working on today.
It's been amazing. Conversion, how to set up a more effective sales process, all the things that are kind of integral and that we're kind of going to be focusing on in this video today as well.
Yes, indeed. So the topic of today's podcast is how to take a business from zero, starting from scratch, get to 20K of sales. And this is, for many businesses, the most challenging period of their business life, because until you have sales coming in, you don't have the marketing budget to spend on doing marketing, which means you don't get sales. So you're stuck in this kind of death loop of hate. So the goal of this is to get you to a place where you're able to generate some sales and you've got that feedback loop working for you instead of against you. So that's what we're going to cover today. So first up, imagining that we've got a business that's done absolutely nothing in terms of sales yet. What are some of the building blocks that you think they need in place before they're ready to do any marketing or even think about marketing?
So I think, first of all, you need to be really sure, like, who is your audience? What's the problem you're actually solving? And have you got the elements in place on your website, on your landing page, so that when you do start marketing, when you do start getting the message out there, that you can be confident that your traffic's going to convert into leads. A lot of the stuff at the beginning is much more about kind of the exploratory stuff, isn't it? About audience, identifying pain points, identifying a really clear call to action, kind of all of that stuff, I think.
Kind of having a clear position in your head about why your business actually exists, like what's the point of your business. If you don't have a point or you don't have a reason, that comes across so quickly on the site. So just having, summarize your business in one sentence and then summarize why people should buy from you rather than anybody else, again in one sentence. And if you can do that in your head and make sure that's clearly communicated on the site, that gets you so far of the way, doesn't it? Because everything else kind of comes from that. Yeah,
no, for sure. I think when it comes to kind of educating your audience as well, which is a really important part, isn't it? Because if your audience isn't educated in what you're offering and why it's a good solution for them, educating them about what you're offering and what the kind of sensible next step is, that's really important. And that does kind of link to positioning, I guess. But it's about letting people know, here's the problem that you're probably facing, here's the solution, and here's the next step you need to take in solving the problem, really.
Yeah, because once you've got a next step and once you've got an offer that you make on the site, then you can drive traffic to it knowing that you're going to convert. So I guess it's different for service businesses and e-commerce businesses, but just taking, for example, an accounting business. Let's say we were setting up an accounting business tomorrow, Ninja Accounts. What sort of offer would we go for? We'd probably go for something like a free tax audit that allows us to see how much tax how much money you're spending on tax, how much a business is spending on tax, and are there any ways of optimizing or improving that? Like something like that, where there's a compelling next step, because once the website is positioned to offer that, you can drive traffic, you're going to get conversions, and then you've...
Like a really significant point is most of the time, the next step that you're wanting people to take isn't buying from you. That's really important, isn't it? Because when you're at the very start of a business, it can be really tempting to think, right, I need to focus on revenue, I need to focus on getting people through the door, getting people spending money with me. But it's not a good way to build a business, because if you're focusing on that, you're going to be ultimately throwing away most of the business you could be getting, because you're expecting too much in terms of a commitment from people that have never spoken to you, never heard of you, never engaged with you. Because if it's a completely new business, that's going to be the case. And that's a big hurdle you've got to get over. And the best way of getting over that is by putting in that kind of step that is not scary. Like, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, if you're an accountancy company that no one's heard of, saying we offer a package for £150 a month is a scary step, because they don't know anything about you, they don't know anything about the value that you can bring. Whereas saying, let's jump on a call and do a tax audit of your business for free, that's something that people are going to do. Even if they've never heard of your business or never heard of you, they're going to do that.
Absolutely. In fact, I mean, that's something that businesses of any size should be taking heed of.
Yeah,
the mastermind today, we had one of the members who, they have a call to action on their website. Previously, they'd had the focus of that call to action was like, find out about our products, which is all right if people know that they want your products. If they don't know that they want your products, that's, you know, the barrier to entry is so big, because I'm basically volunteering for a sales call. So just by changing the position and moving that up, they've gone from getting 7 to 10 leads per week to in one day they had 7 leads after implementing that. So that switch from my website is here to sell my business to my website is here to sell the next step in my sales journey is massive.
It really is. And actually, it can even be the case for an e-commerce business, even though intuitively it feels like it might not be. Clearly, if you're an e-commerce business that's trying to sell everything to everyone, it's not going to be such an easy step to make. But equally, that's probably a terrible business to try and start. Like, there are companies that do that quite well already, and they've got quite a lot of brand awareness out there, haven't they? Like, that's not a good move. But if you're a specialist e-commerce company that specializes, again, a company that we've been dealing with that specializes in hearing aids, like a really technical specialist offering, even if your business model around that kind of niche area was completely e-commerce based, you're probably still going to want to have that consultation step as a first step, aren't you? Even if you know that you're not doing anything service based, you're not really offering anything down the line which is consultancy based, it's just a good way of getting people to you to start with so that you can then sell your product. And it is about being creative. I think in this day and age, like more than ever, you've got to have a creative first step, haven't you? Because if you are just thinking, I need to sell this product, and then you're running ads to a product page trying to sell a product, or you're running ads to a service page trying to sell a service, you're just never going to get an ROI, really. It's going to be really hard work.
Going back to the accountancy example, if you imagine that Ninja Accountancy is going up against established local accountants with loads of testimonials, loads of case studies, they've worked with loads of businesses, logos everywhere, you might think, oh, that's an intimidating market to move into. How can we possibly get traction? Well, if you imagine all of their ads on Google Ads, and they're saying, you know, we've been established 25 years, blah, 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 blah. And then there's your ad, which doesn't say any of that, but it says, we specialize in helping business owners reduce their tax burdens. Request your free tax audit today to find out how much you could save.
Yeah.
Immediately now, if I'm a business owner, I'm your perfect customer, I'm thinking, well, really, there's one option here that stands out above everyone else.
You're just cutting through the noise, aren't you?
Absolutely.
That's essentially what you're doing, which is so important in such a crowded space. Like, the quickest way as well, which we'll get onto in a minute, the quickest way to drive traffic if you're a brand new business is always going to be paid ads. But paid ads is always also going to be the most competitive space to be in as a starting point, because there's going to be businesses that are already profitable that can afford to spend probably more than you can at driving traffic and driving leads. So having that process in place that is high converting, that makes you stand out amongst the crowd, is going to play a big factor in whether you can afford to actually use the paid ads. Yeah. Like, that's the reality, because otherwise it's just going to burn a massive hole in your pocket. You're going to be paying above the odds. You're going to run out probably of budget. That's the situation most startup businesses are in. They've got a finite amount of money that they can afford to invest in this new venture. And if these foundations around the call to action, these initial steps aren't done right, you're just going to run out of money. You're going to run out of resources. Which is why, as well, it's really important to get tracking set up. Like, so many businesses work blind, like completely blind. Like, they might set up something that seems like a really good call to action, and they're getting leads through, and they're thinking, oh, great, this is wonderful. And the ad campaign might be profitable when they start running traffic to it. So just think, oh, great, well, we'll leave it running then, it's profitable. for all they know, they might be getting all their leads from one single keyword and paying for another 20 keywords that aren't driving them a single lead. Like, their business could be so much more profitable. And this is why it's important at the very, very start to get analytics set up correctly and stored on your site, to get conversion tracking set up, like all of these elements that are fundamental in being able to track data and analyze what's happening.
Absolutely. So let's talk about traffic then. Obviously, Google Ads is a massive one for a business that's selling something to people that have an intent. So if I'm looking, like if you're an accountant, running Facebook ads may be a good idea, but really people are looking for accountants.
For sure.
It's an intent-based purchase, isn't it? Just kind of reverse engineering some of the numbers so you can get a feel for the impact that this conversion stuff that we're talking about has. One of the examples that we're looking at of a website in the mastermind today, converting 9.2% of their traffic, of pay-per-click traffic, they're around 5.7%. So every 20 visitors they get onto the site through PPC, they convert 1. Now, if that sounds like not much, their previous best result was every 45 visitors they converted 1 before they had their website redone to focus on the stuff that we're talking about here. And even that was outperforming industry average, which would be every 100 visitors they get 1. So if you're up against, let's say that you're paying £5 a click for Ninja Accountancy, and people would be horrified at the idea of paying £5 for every click. Your competitors might be converting 1 in 100 of those clicks to a lead. If you can convert 1 in 20 of those clicks to a lead, you're paying £100 per lead rather than £500 per lead. Massive difference. So even if they've got big dumb money, they've got deep pockets and they're shoveling cash into Google's black hole, you're still going to be able to compete there because you've got the conversion piece in place. So I think the perception can be Google Ads is expensive, I can't even afford to go there.
Yeah.
It's not always the case.
But I think even more fundamentally, and I think people forget this and don't pay enough attention to it, like your conversion rate is the easiest way to grow your business. Like increasing your conversion rate. If you've got a site that's converting at 1% and you do a few tweaks to your sales process and you get that to 2%, like it doesn't sound big, but you've just doubled your business. Like you've just doubled the number of inquiries you're getting, and that's significant, like really significant. So it's something you should really pay attention to. Not only does it mean you can market more profitably and afford to be more aggressive, but it's just a more efficient way of running a business. Like, why do you want all that wastage when you could be converting more?
I think the trouble is that maximizing conversion rate is not a sexy topic.
No.
If you're a small business, the first thing a lot of people will do is social media, organic social media. They're spending all their time making posts 5 times
a day on every platform,
not creating 100 pieces of content a day. They're all over it. Whereas actually, they're not getting any leads at all, and they're just, they're just cranking the handle and they're just providing content for Facebook. So one of the most important lessons for a small business is it's as much about what you don't do as what you choose to do, because you've got finite resources. You're spending your time building the business, servicing clients, whatever. You don't have time to be spending all day on social media. So it's okay to just say, right, I know that's important, but it's not yet. We're going to focus on this other stuff first. We're going to get some traffic, get some leads coming through. Once we've got that automated, then we can start to add in other stuff.
Yeah, because the other thing that people, I think, are not aware of, in fairness, if you're completely new to business, if it's a brand new business you've set up, the reality is social media organically just doesn't have the impact it used to have anyway, because all of these platforms, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, whatever the platform is, they're very deliberately driving people to use ads. So they're very deliberately saying we're going to limit the exposure of your post organically because we want you to pay for ads. So if you know that, you may as well just do the ads, because that's going to be the most efficient way of getting your message out there, and you're not going to need to post as much because you're using an ad to get the exposure, not relying on volume of posts to get your message out there.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like me, you've got that fundamental rebellious tendency that says, Facebook's going to limit my organic reach. Well, fuck it, I'm not going to do the ads. I'm not going to break. I'm going to show them. But the thing is, there's stuff that you get from ads that you don't get from social, like the ability to target people who don't already know you. Obviously with organic, you're only targeting the people that already know you. So particularly if you're small, you're playing in a very small pond. With ads, you can go straight to the people that, you know, are good quality leads for you. So.
And this is actually a really powerful point, isn't it, when it comes to paid advertising and where should you put your focus initially. As you said, for some services like accountancy, it's going to be absolutely sensible and logical that you're focusing on Google ads where people are searching for a particular solution and you're positioning yourself as that solution. But if you're in an industry or you're providing a solution that is more unique, so you're providing a service that fixes a problem, but people just aren't aware that that service even exists, Facebook is going to be a much more effective way of getting your message out there. Simply because people are not searching for what it is that you offer. Now, if you're in that kind of environment, the other great thing about Facebook is there may be other brands that are very similar to your brand that are targeting the same audience as your audience is, and Facebook lets you essentially just tap into their audience. And that's mad, isn't it? Like, that's really powerful because they might have spent however long building up an audience of people that like their pages, engage with their content, and you can just leverage that audience rather than having to build that exposure yourself, which is a massive shortcut, isn't it? In terms of being able to test an offer, test a call to action. Like, that's going to really shortcut your kind of route to success because you're not starting from zero. You're targeting people that you already know are wanting what it is you offer them.
Yeah. I want to ask you about SEO because Exposure Ninja, obviously a lot of people know us for SEO, and a lot of startup businesses, they're like, we don't have the budget, organic traffic is the way forward, and they kind of gravitate to SEO because it makes sense logically and all of that. Where does SEO fit in the 0 to 20k revenue business?
In reality, it's something you should be focusing on when you're further along the journey. Because first of all, it takes longer to get results with SEO. You're not going to be able to put a page up, do a few quick tweaks, and then suddenly find your page ranking. And the longer that kind of delay is, the longer it's going to be before you get data. And if you're not getting data back, you don't know whether your offer's working, you don't know whether your call to action's working, and you're in a position where you're kind of stuck, aren't you? And you're investing what might be a very limited amount of resource in something that's going to take 3 or 4 months to start to see results from. And then when you start to see results, you might go, the offer didn't convert after all. And that's not a great position to be in. Like, it's much, much better to think, right, brand new business, we're not sure how it's going to go, we think we're incredible, we think people are going to really go for what we're offering, and then check that. And you check that with paid traffic because you get the data very quickly, you get the visitors very quickly, you're in control of how much you're spending. And once you start to get the data about conversion rate, about what you're paying per lead, about how people are engaging to the kind of different angles that you're using, at that point, you can then feel more confident about investing in SEO further down the line because you've seen promise in what you're doing. It wouldn't be an area that we would suggest focusing on for a brand new business that's got no data, no audience, not tested the market, not tested a price point, because you're going to be working blind. And the other thing, of course, is if you're working with Google ads as a kind of first focus, you're getting data, aren't you, about the keywords that convert. And when you're doing SEO work, you can get data about keywords and you can make predictions and guesstimates about what keywords are likely to convert for you, but it's all guesstimates and approximations. But if you use the pay-per-click ads first, then you're going to be able to get really concrete data that says, right, if we get our page ranking for this keyword, we know that it's bringing us leads. And you're not going to end up focusing in kind of the wrong areas, which is super important as well.
And that's a really good point. It's why we often run PPC even to an established client that's got SEO, because we get that conversion data much faster. But also, I think, great point about waiting for SEO. Potentially, you put in a whole load of work, months and months, wait for the traffic to come in. The feedback loop is too short. If you're a small business, you need leads now, you need a really fast feedback loop.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, when we put together a plan, we always look at kind of a 12-month period, don't we?
Yeah.
And it's really important to bear in mind, if you're looking over 12 months, SEO is definitely going to be a part of that plan. Like that should be the thing that you're working on probably in the second half of that 12-month period, isn't it? In the kind of 6 to 12-month period, because over a period like that, it can completely transform a business. But in that first 6-month period, when you're getting the foundations going, it's definitely that paid traffic that's going to get the best results. And split testing paid traffic as well, because it can often be the case that you can make presumptions, like using the accountancy example, you can make presumptions that, well, it's definitely going to be Google ads that will work best for us because of the kind of service we're offering. But that's what everyone's thinking. And if everyone's thinking it, you might end up having to shout really loud and not get great results in a saturated space. Whereas if you think creatively and use Facebook ads in an inventive and creative way to target business owners, to target people that are engaging with, like using accountancy as an example, you might target people that engage with pages relating to different accountancy software that suggests they might be doing things themselves, and then approach them in that space where they're not getting bombarded with multiple businesses next to each other. Because it will always be the case that one paid traffic channel will work better than another, and it's ideal if you know that as soon as possible, isn't it? You don't really want to have to test one method for 3 months, then another method for 3 months, and then realize that you've wasted all that time when you could have got those results within the first 2-3 months and known where you should be heading.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about some of the tools that a business is going to be using, some of the software. You mentioned already Google Analytics. Obviously, that's your kind of dashboard. You wouldn't drive a car without being able to see out of the windscreen, and Analytics is your windscreen.
For sure.
What about some of the other stuff, maybe like back-end stuff?
So I think it's really important, isn't it, to have some kind of follow-up system that's leveraged.
Yeah.
Like you absolutely want that. So if someone's filling in a form and requesting like a callback from you, you don't want that to be completely manually based. The callback's obviously going to be manual, but you want to have them fed into a particular system that is then going to do automated follow-up for you as well, and make sure that you're building a relationship, because it's that relationship piece that's going to ultimately lead to conversions. For that, there's lots of different options. And to start with, even something like Aweber, which is really basic and really easy to implement, can be good for just setting up a schedule of emails to go out over like a 7 or 10-day period once someone's requested that initial call. As you start to get a little more advanced, I would still say within that kind of key 0 to 20K period, you should be looking at things like Active Campaign, which can allow you to go deeper with the automation, can't it? And really have a good sales process in place that you can build with those kind of CRMs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the great thing about Active Campaign, if you're a service company, you're dealing with leads, is that pipeline management, so you can keep things organized. The last thing you want to be doing is trying to maintain your own kind of database using freaking Excel docs and all this. It's a complete mess.
Pen and paper.
Yeah,
good old-fashioned pen and paper.
You need to be organized, particularly if you're running paid traffic. Every lead that you get through, if you don't have a lot of budget, you've got to be maximizing the value of that lead. So when they come through, they go into an email system, they get an immediate email which says, thank you for requesting your whatever, we'll be in touch very shortly to book your thingy, whatever. And then once they've had that meeting with you, you need something that follows up with them if you're not going to be doing it manually, to keep them warm. And as well, just sending them out stuff which boosts your credibility. So here are some tips, here are some businesses that we've worked with. You know, it's almost tax time, so you can do like broadcasts around seasonal topics. That email database, another reason why you might be willing to pay £20, £50 a lead in the early days, is you're not just looking for the sale immediately. Of course, you need the sales as quickly as possible, but you know, we've got people in this room. One of the mastermind members I first met in the very early days of Exposure Ninja, maybe even pre-Exposure Ninja. Because they've been in our email system the whole time, every so often, ping, ping, here's a new email, here's a new webinar, whatever, and they're still converting, they're still becoming clients today. And, you know, without that nurture, I mean, if you think about it, if we didn't have an email system in place, we've been through over 10,000 marketing
so much wastage.
Imagine the wastage.
That'd be so much wastage. Like, something that's really important to remember, and if you've had a marketing review from us, you'll probably hear us say this, like, the majority of people that you connect with won't buy from you immediately.
Yeah.
Like the majority, if you're doing really, really well, you might be converting like 10%, let's say, if you're doing amazingly. Like, because in the early days of a business, you're going to have lots of split testing and working out your offer. If you're converting like, or let's even say 20%, if you're converting 20% of the leads that you get, that still means 8 out of every 10 people are not buying from you at that point. Like, you need those people to be there because, yeah, they are going to buy at some point.
Yeah. If
Most
they had
likely.
enough interest to request whatever it is that you're offering, they have the pain that you solve. Something isn't just right for them at that point.
Like, really important, really important. But also, I think that the tool side of things, it starts more fundamentally at the front end as well, doesn't it? In terms of your website and what your website is actually doing. Like, again, you want to be maximizing not just every lead that you get, but every visitor that you get to your site in an attempt to get as many of those people into leads as possible. A really easy, quick solution for that is using live chat. Live chat can be phenomenal. Like, if you're a brand new business, brand new website, and you're desperate for clients, live chat allows you to like engage with every single visitor that comes to your site on a one-to-one basis. Like, it's like having someone standing at the door to your business saying, hi, welcome, let me know if I can help you. Like, that's significant. Like, it's really significant. And you can automate a lot of it. We recommend a platform called Talk.to, TAWK.TO. And it's mad, it's completely free of charge to use. You can set it up really easily. You can manage it from your phone, but it allows you to engage with people. And that's, yeah, it's vital because that's a big difference. Having a site that's a brochure where people are just reading information and then making a decision about whether to call you, or having a site that is set up to drive people through a process, filling in a form, engaging with live chat, having an interactive experience on your site. Like, that's a game changer. That's the difference between a site that works and brings a business ROI and a site that's just there for decoration, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. A good-looking site that's, you know, it's like a salesperson, isn't it? You wouldn't hire a salesperson just based on their looks, and yet that's how most people buy or assess a website is, well, it looks good. The creative agency did we spent loads of money on it. That's another criteria that people use. Actually, none of that stuff is really as important as how good is that site at actually selling you.
Absolutely.
And getting people to take an action to move forward with your business. Wayne, let's wrap up. But if we've got any, like, starting a business from 0 to 20K is freaking tough.
Yeah.
Any advice for people in that situation to just keep going?
Yeah, so I guess a lot of it's mindset, isn't it, in the early days, as well as the mechanics stuff. Like, it's really important, as you said at the beginning, you need to have a reason for your business existing. Like, if you've just set up a business because you think you're going to earn a quick buck from it and it's going to be an easy way to make a living, like, you will lose that you will lose that view quite quickly. Like, you'll realize once you're going, if it's your first experience of running a business, like, it's not as easy as you're thinking it is. So you've got to have that kind of mission, that reason why you're doing what you're doing, and that reason to believe that you're the best at delivering what you're delivering. But focus, I would say, at the front end on giving as much value as you can. Like, building that process around offering as much value as possible, offering that free consultation call over the phone, offering that free support via live chat. Everything should be focused on connecting with as many people as possible, giving as much value out as possible. If you think you're giving away too much, you're probably just giving enough value. Like, in this competitive market, like the marketing reviews that we do at Exposure Ninja, and if you've not had one yet, phenomenal thing to do when you're at the start of your journey, because a lot of the reviews we do are for people that have had their site up for 5 years, and how frustrating is not just 5 years, that's very specific, and how annoying if you've had your site up for 5 years and then we tell you the list of mistakes that you've been making. If you're at the beginning of your journey, it's much easier to have us look at things at the beginning and stop you making the mistakes. Like, you'll feel better about yourself doing that. Like, really annoying doing it 5 years down the line. But having that guidance, that's really important, so that you're steering things in the right direction from the beginning and are getting the expertise. Like, it's not easy, is it? That's the thing.
No.
It's not easy, and you might be an incredible accountant, you might be an incredible plumber, you might be an incredible solicitor, but marketing's entirely different. They're not the same skill set.
Yeah.
And certainly in kind of the digital age, things move so quickly that if you've not got someone that's kind of got their finger on the pulse and is able to advise you on things that are changing and where you should be directing your budget, the chances are you'll fail. Like, that's the reality.
Yeah.
Like, most new businesses fail.
Statistically, the likelihood is that the business will die, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I think...
and on that note...
enjoy. So if you want to keep motivated... so no, you just want to make sure you're being steered in the right direction, have that clear vision as to why you exist, and do utilize the resources that are out there, like a free marketing review, free training, anything that's there that's going to help you shortcut your journey to learning about marketing. Seize it, because like that's the difference between success and failure of a business, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to try and add something, but I don't think I can really add to anything there. I think that was perfect. And also, on that note, Wayne didn't know about this, but one thing I wanted to mention, which we offer to help businesses that are at 0 to 20K, we've actually got a video which kind of takes you through not just the mindset piece, but also some of the prioritization stuff that we suggest for a business in your situation. So most of the stuff that we do at Exposure Ninja is helping businesses at a larger scale. But one of the things that we've made a really conscious decision to do this year is to help businesses at an earlier level, because we recognize that they are the future stars of tomorrow. And being completely honest, we know that if we can help you get to that stage where you have the budget to work on your marketing with some professional help, then of course we can help you. So we've put together a video which you'll be able to see. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to click the link below. If you're not on YouTube, if you go to 0 to 20k.exposureninja.com, there's a video there. That's 0 to 20k. That's the word zero, Z-E-R-O, to 20k.exposureninja.com. There's a video there which talks you through the prioritization that we'd suggest. And it also mentions a service that we're running called Preparing for Digital Marketing. So Preparing for Digital Marketing is something that we developed. It's a consultancy-led service. So most of our marketing services for our clients are usually between, say, 2 and 10k a month. For a business that's in the startup phase, that's just completely out of the question. So what we've done is taken the project managers who manage those campaigns, who've been working on our best performing client campaigns, who've been, really at the coalface working on these campaigns. They've seen exactly what it's taken to grow these businesses. We've taken clients from 2k a month in revenue to 2.4 million a month in revenue, and there's been project managers who've been at that every stage of that journey, seeing that happen. So what we're doing is we're taking those guys and girls, and for a percentage of their time actually having them deliver consultancy to much earlier stage businesses. So you get the benefit of their expertise, and they can take you through the model that we run with all of these larger businesses, but at a much lower price. So that video at 0 to 20k.exposureninja.com will also tell you a bit about that Preparing for Digital Marketing service, which is a new service, and it's designed for businesses at that really early level. You're not ready to invest in digital marketing yet. You need help with the positioning stuff, as Wayne said, making sure you know exactly who your target audience is, what your offering is, and then in those early stages of running the ads, what sort of angles you need to go for, which channels are going to be working best for you. So there's that help if you need it. So I'd check out the video. There's loads of tips and strategy in the video, whether or not you're interested in preparing for digital marketing. And then of course, if you're interested in P4DM, then there's some information about how that works. Anything to add before we wrap?
No, I think that's good.
Cool. Well, hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, if you're listening on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Please give us a review. We really appreciate them. And until the next episode, see you soon.
Have fun.
Hope you found this video useful. And remember, if you enjoyed it, click the little like button. If you want to check out more videos from Exposure Ninja, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that little bell icon, or leave us a comment if you've got any questions or suggestions of things that you'd like to see us cover in future. Don't forget, if you want some help with your digital marketing, then you can head over to exposureninja.com www.untitled.com/review and request a free website and digital marketing review. What will happen here is we'll ask you a few questions about your website and your goals, and one of our team will then put together a 15-minute video where we'll show you how to improve your website's ranking, your traffic, and your conversions. It's completely free of charge. I know, crazy, right? But danger, there is a chance that you'll become a client after seeing this review because it'll blow your socks off. I have to be honest, but don't let that put you off. Go to exposureninja.com/review, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.